My name is Jessica and I have no idea what I'm doing. Today is finally another makeup of interest video. I am so backed up on these. I have like 3 of them that I want to film, but honestly they are just such a pain to film and even a bigger pain to edit. But here we go. If you haven't seen one of these before, basically I tell you about new and upcoming makeup releases that have caught my eye for one reason or another, and then I walk through whether it's for me or not, and do I need it or not. First up is the Colored Raine Power Collection. So this caught my eye because of the purples in the palette, of course, but it's not for me and I don't need it. I do like the liquid glitter toppers, especially the purple and the blue. I mean, really I like the gold and the silver too. But they are just toppers, and I like liquid glitter eyeshadows to be opaque and to be real eyeshadows. So kind of like most of the Stila ones. So I'm going to pass on those, not for me, and well, if that purple one was more opaque, I would say maybe that was a needed, but it's not, so I don't need it. I have to say, one of the cheek palettes interested me. The one that is the bright red blush, and then it has the sparkly white highlighter. I don't know, I think it's an attractive combination. I think it's also kind of intense, but I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. Next is a collaboration from Deck of Scarlet, and it's with ThatGirlShaeXO. This caught my eye simply because I like Shea, but this is not a kind of palette that's for me. A couple of the colors in it are okay, you know, purple, blue, a little green, a little shimmery white color maybe, but this isn't for me and I don't need it. But congratulations to her. Next is the Moonwell collection by Devinah Cosmetics. That is a collaboration with Angelica. I'm not going to try to say her last name. She is another YouTuber that I like, so I'm really happy for her that she got this collaboration. Her makeup style, I would say, is most similar to mine out of all the YouTubers out there because most of them do very neutral looks. So as for this particular bundle, I like the greens, I like the purples, I love the blue. Duochromes are nice. But the thing is, I have colors like this, and it's kind of expensive. I did want to try Devinah Cosmetics at some point, but I would probably be better off picking some of my own colors, and not that many of them. It's also not exactly my color scheme, even though I do like the colors in it. Like, I wouldn't pair some of those together normally. But I am happy for her, congratulations to her, but it's only somewhat for me, and I don't really need it. Next is the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Storm palette. This palette is kind of for me. It's half for me, and that's what frustrates me about it. I love the blues, I love the purples, the peaches, even like some of the cool tones, but the reddish tones are just not for me. I will probably never use them, and I feel like that's a lot of this palette not to use. I was hoping to get my first Dominique Cosmetics palette with the Rustic Glam palette. I didn't because I really don't need it, and there were other palettes that I wanted more that you already saw, and I bought them. At first glance I thought, oh good, I didn't get that one, maybe I'll get this one, but it's not totally for me, and I definitely don't need it. Next is something, I don't know how I missed this, but the e.l.f. Earth and Ocean palette. You know I was attracted by those blues, right? I think that looks nice. I've been back and forth with this palette. At first I thought it was too muted, now I kind of like it. Then I look at it again and say, well, some of them are kind of too light for what I would want, and some of them are too neutral for what I would want. The thing is, I really don't need this. It is somewhat for me. I love the blues, I love the greens, and I do like some of the cool tone neutrals in there actually. And the gold looks nice. But just because it's cheap doesn't mean you should buy it. I really don't need this. You know I have colors like this. Pass. We're moving on. Next up is the Funko X Disney Villain Collection. Of course, the fact that they're Disney and the fact that there are eyeshadow palettes drew me in. I kind of like the Maleficent one. I mean, I was drawn in by the purples anyway. That's what I really mean. I don't think they embody her really, though. And I definitely think the Ursula face palette does not embody her. But anyway, for whatever reason, they picked these combinations. They're not really for me. I don't need them. Moving on. Next, we have some I Heart Revolution products, two of which are Halloween themed. So we have the Blood Chocolate palette and the Slime Chocolate palette. The Blood Chocolate palette, I'm putting it out there for anyone who is interested. I am definitely not interested. I just saw the slime one and then saw that one next to it, so here it is. But I don't like red eyeshadows, as you know, and I really, really don't like blood. So, not for me, don't need it. Moving on. As for the Slime Chocolate palette, I like the blues, I like the purples, I like the greens, I like the little orange and peach, or maybe like a melon color. I like the colors in here, or at least some of them, but I really don't need this. And then one that is newer but is not a Halloween themed palette is the Turkish Delight Chocolate palette. This one I feel is similar to the Rose Gold Elixir palette. I feel like this is maybe an amped up version of that. I have the Rose Gold one, so maybe if I didn't have that one, I would have gotten this one, because I feel like the pinks and greens and gold are more vibrant. But I do have the other one. Honestly, I didn't even need that one. It's not totally for me, and neither is my other one. I kind of just bought it for the greens and pinks. Don't need it. Moving on. Next are a couple palettes from Juvia's place. First, I'm going to talk about the Nomad palette. I knew somewhere deep in my heart that this was going to be a muted neutral palette that I would not like based on the packaging. I think the packaging's cute, but the colors inside, they're not for me. I mean, I like the army green. I kind of like that shade in the middle, like that cool shimmer. I think that's interesting, but it stops there. It's not for me and I don't need it. As for the Warrior palette, I was disappointed by this one too. When I saw the outside, when they did a sneak peek of it, I was really curious as to what would be inside. But now that I've seen the inside, you know me, too many mattes. Of course I like the purple, the blue shimmer, but that red I'm not going to use. I would find ways to use these, but it's not really for me and I don't need it. Next is another Halloween themed product, and it is from Makeup Revolution. I didn't put it with the other stuff because that's I Heart Revolution technically, and this is technically Makeup Revolution brand. But this is the Possessed Glitter palette. And the reason it got here is because I was drawn to the purple and the teal and it being sparkly. But I don't really like glitters like this. There's only 2 shades that I'm interested in. It's not for me and I don't need it. Next is the Melt Radioactive collection. Obviously, I was attracted by this palette because of all the colors. I have to say, I'm surprised at the shimmers that they chose. It seems like the turquoise and the 2 purples are the shimmers in this palette, and usually those are the colors that are matte. I feel like blues and purples are usually the mattes. It's very pretty, but It's not really for me because I would want more shimmers, and I don't need it. I have colors like this. Okay, almost done, but I had to move because my dad's watching TV. But back to the Melt Radioactive collection. I also like those, I don't know if they're like eyeshadow trios or cheek trios, but I kind of like them. I like the orangey, peachy, creamsicle kind of vibe, and I also like the purples in the other one. But just like the palette, I don't need them, and too expensive. And the last things I'm going to talk about today are the Pat McGrath Eye Ecstasy eyeshadow palettes. So these are supposedly mini palettes, but still for Pat McGrath, I think $28 for a mini palette is a great price. There is one in Sublime. And one in Subversive. The Sublime one is just here because I got interested by the other one. This is too neutral for me. But as for the Subversive one, I got attracted by the purple, the teal. I do like the gold. I don't know what that color toward the bottom is. I don't know if that's like a plum or a brown. And everything is shimmer, so I can't complain about there being too many mattes. But it's not really for me, and I really don't need it. I have colors like this. So what do you guys think? What's on your makeup of interest list? That's it for today, so I hope you have a good day no matter what it is you're doing. Bye. See you next time.